My name is Sutton Foster. I play Princess Winifred in Once Upon a Mattress. Princess Winifred, she is a princess from the swamplands. She is one of a kind, full of energy, optimism, hope, love. Her first big number in the show is a song called Shy, where she's trying to, make everyone feel comfortable around her by saying, I'm also really shy, which is the opposite of what she is. But one of the things Michael Urie suggested is that maybe where she comes from, she actually is the shyest person. I love to imagine that she's from a land of just really outgoing, outlandish characters who have a real appetite for life. It's a character that has no boundaries. So I also think of her as like a very close talker, super curious, unafraid to touch people. And she talks really fast and she just really has a hunger. She's very hungry. And so she's really fun to play. This show specifically is incredibly physical, but I feel like all the roles that I have played are physical, and a lot of her physicality has come from just playing around on stage, playing with the other actors, trying to find different ways to surprise people. Like she's the fish out of water, so she's coming into this incredibly repressed kingdom. How is she different? And one of the ways she's different is just the way she moves. She's from the swamp, so if you think that she's like slashing around in the swamp up to her waist. So like now her whole lower extremities have been free for the first time. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like the way she moves her hips and the way she moves her legs. And like, she's like suddenly has freedom in a whole half of body that she never did before. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, that's really fun. It's the first time I've played a clown. And I've been fearful of that. It's a big swing, and you have to be so brave, and you have to still be earnest and honest, and you have to find humanity and groundedness, even in the extreme. And there's a lot of physical comedy, and there's a lot of times on stage, it's just me, and there's no music, and there's no talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on stage alone for 3.5 minutes in total silence. And please, dear God, please, audience, laugh. And so that, I think, has been like the scariest but yet most rewarding piece. Go and you learn. And some shows you're like, nope, push that one too hard, or, oh, I can't wait to try that again, or, oh, I need to let that idea go. And I feel like that's the biggest challenge. It is not my most glamorous role. I'm barefoot most of the show. I come out, I've got critters and leeches on my back and animals in my hair, and I'm covered in mud, and then I get a terrible haircut, but there's something beautiful about her. What I love about the show is at the end, she doesn't come out all pretty and put together, and she wants love, but not compromising like who she is. There's a great line in the play that Sir Harry has where he says, Dauntless is unusual, and Winnifred is unusual, and maybe they can be unusual together. So she ends up finding her perfect match in someone just as unique and as herself. I don't enter until about 30 minutes into the show. It's a different preparation because I'm actually listening to the show going on. I crochet and I just try to stay calm. I look at myself in the mirror and look at myself in the eyeballs, and I'm like, all right. And it's just trying to find ease and play and love and confidence, I guess. But still, it's like my heart starts beating every time I crawl onto the stage to head to the moat.